Welcome to the Casual Birder podcast. I'm Suzy Buttress. As a casual birder, I take time to watch birds as I go about my daily tasks. In my show, I'll tell you about the wild birds I've seen, speak with other enthusiasts, take bird walks, and share stories from listeners around the world. In episode 73, I look back to the RSPB's Big Garden Birdwatch, recalling my sightings on the survey day, and we hear about the birds you saw. But first, here's a special message from one of the co-hosts of Hannah and Erik Go Birding. Hannah is part of a team of women birders taking part in the conservation event Champions of the Flyway, which raises awareness and funds for bird conservation.
Hi, this is Hannah, one of the hosts of Hannah and Erik Go Birding. We're a podcast by birders for birders. And Erik and I love to travel, and we love to see birds and new places. And this year we're so excited to add Israel and the whole suite of birds that you can see to our country birding list and the whole country to our life country list, because we are birders, so we keep lots of lists. And I'm so honored to be participating in this year's Champions of the Flyway, which is a competition that raises funds and awareness for global birding and conservation efforts. Since 2014, this competition has raised over $500,000 for bird conservation with BirdLife International partners around the world, and that's mainly for projects tackling the illegal killing of birds migrating along flyways. In 2020, we're shedding light on the fast decline of the steppe eagle and conservation of portions of their range in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, where over 80% of the population breeds. This species is listed as globally endangered by the IUCN with an estimation of just 50,000 adults left in the wild. And they're in such devastation due to many challenges, including collisions with power lines and fires. And I'm part of the first all-women international team with Elena, Lisa, Amy, and Lydia. And together we represent the east and west coast of the United States, Trinidad and Tobago, Israel, and Uzbekistan. And on March 31st, we'll be competing with a number of other teams, leaving just after midnight on an exciting 24-hour race to see as many birds as we can throughout Israel in that period. Our team is fortunate to be sponsored by Kawa and Wonderbird, but we need your help too to raise funds to protect these eagles. We've just reached our 50% goal and have less than 2 months left to raise the rest. Please help us reach or exceed our fundraising goal and show your support for women birders by going to the Champions of the Flyway website and supporting the women in steppe. You can also purchase stickers on our Etsy website or follow us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for Women in Steppe. Thank you so much, Suzy, for letting me share this story and take over for a few minutes. And thank you to Kawa and Wonderbird for supporting this fantastic effort of the whole Women in Steppe team, as well as the Champions of the Flyway. We look forward to sharing, Erik and myself sharing our adventure on our podcast and on our social media platforms. And maybe someday, Suzy, we can share it with you too. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and happy birding.
To find out more and to donate if you can, please visit championsoftheflyway.com. The link is in the show notes. Hannah and Erik Go Birding is one of my favourite podcasts about birds. I hope you listen to it too. A few weeks ago, I took part in the Big Garden Birdwatch, an annual survey organised by the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, the RSPB. It takes place over a specified weekend in January, and this year it was the 25th to the 27th. Over 500,000 people have taken part in the survey over the past 40 years, collecting an enormous amount of data. It's a great example of citizen science. This snapshot of our local birds allows the RSPB and others to monitor trends and to see which species are doing well and which might be declining. For example, the historical data shows that fewer song thrushes and greenfinches are visiting our gardens, and that wrens and coal tits are seen more often. All sorts of factors may be involved in these changes, and getting data on what is actually seen is an important first step to understanding whether action needs to be taken. The rules for the survey are very simple to enable as many people as possible to take part. Choose a place to watch the birds. You don't have to have a garden to take part. You can make your count in a local park or other outdoor space. Watch the birds for 1 hour. Only count those that land, not the ones that fly over. Record the maximum number of each bird species you see at any one time. So, for example, if you see 3 wood pigeons and then later see 2 and then 4 altogether, the number to submit is 4. That avoids any double counting of birds. I've taken part in this survey for over 25 years. Unfortunately, I only have sporadic records from previous years, and it would have been nice to see what birds I recorded from the earlier surveys. My current garden is a small suburban one, with an area of decking, a paved patio, a small lawn, and lots of shrubs. There used to be a beautiful oak at the end of the garden, which brought in some of the larger birds during the summer, and jays each autumn for the acorns, but the neighbour it belonged to had it removed last September. I'm still mourning its loss, but trying to find positives in the situation. Anyway, our garden is pretty wild at the moment and needs some serious tidying, especially as the bramble and ground elder tends to take over during the growing season. This year, I'm hoping to get advice on appropriate plants and flowers to grow to work towards a managed but wildlife-friendly garden. I'll share that information with you in future episodes. On Big Garden Birdwatch weekend, I planned to do my survey on the Sunday, even though the weather forecast was better for Saturday. But I was taking Will, a young listener to the show, out birdwatching at a local site on that day. It turned out to be a very cold, clear Saturday, and we saw 25 species on our woodland walk, including a big flock of redwings, my first sightings of the winter. Before the Birdwatch weekend, I'd spoken to Euan, the Edinburgh Birdwatcher, and Rachael, host of Hidden Wings and Bloodlust podcast, all about ladybirds, about their plans for the survey. Are you all geared up for the Big Garden Birdwatch?
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be going into our new summer house, which we named the Puffin, because my mum's obsessed with puffins, so we've got a bit of a puffin theme inside, so I'll go in there with my telescope and hopefully get close-up views of the birds, because the fat balls and the seed feeder is just basically just right next to the summer house, so I can get even close-up views if I have to.
What kind of time do you generally do your birdwatch?
I usually think morning time is a better time to do it than the afternoon time. Even though it's normally quite busy in the afternoon, but yes, morning time I think is the best time to do it.
But it also depends on the weather, doesn't it? Do you allow yourself sort of leeway by planning to do the Saturday, but then if that doesn't work out weather-wise, doing the Sunday instead?
Yes, I do that as well. Last year wasn't very... I think I did mine on the Sunday, but the Saturday wasn't very nice, so Sunday was the best day of the week.
So I know when I've done this in the past and I've sort of had an hour, but none of the birds that I normally have in the garden turn up, and then I do another hour to see if they come then.
Oh, I know. I've had that problem.
It doesn't matter whether the birds that you normally have in your garden aren't there that hour. The point is you're taking a snapshot of your garden. What I've also done in the last couple of years is been on Twitter at the same time using the hashtag. It's really amazing because then you realise there's people all over the country doing their watch at the same time as you, and you're all seeing, different birds. So I really, really enjoy that, feeling that sort of camaraderie with everyone else who's watching the birds at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do enjoy the Big Garden Birdwatch. It's always exciting. The hour goes in very quickly.
Hiya, my name is Rachael. I think for the Garden Birdwatch, I'm going to look out of the window and see what birds I can find for an hour or so. Mostly the birds that we get are like blue tits and long-tailed tits and robins and blackbirds and things like that. We haven't had anything too exciting, although there are definitely a few song thrushes around, and I've seen chaffinches and goldfinches in the garden before, and of course wood pigeons. But it will be interesting to sort of observe it for an hour and see what actually comes and goes. It will definitely be interesting to see what's there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do probably around 10 o'clock, but I'll be looking out of my bedroom window because I get a better view of my garden from the bedroom window. So I'll have my binoculars, so that'll mean that the neighbours will think I'm a bit of a weirdo, I should think, if anyone can see me. But what kind of garden do you have? Are you on a suburban estate, or are you near woodland, or what?
It's like quite an old house and it's just near a park. And unfortunately, so like my bedroom is actually overlooking my neighbour's house, and they get really interesting birds there. They get a lot of goldfinches and greenfinches. And my actual garden, it's just kind of like a normal like suburban garden. It's not very big. We do have a bird feeder and stuff, but we haven't actually fed the birds in a while.
So, Sunday morning arrived. I planned to do the count from 10 a.m. However, when I woke up around 7:30, it was raining with a brisk breeze. Not ideal conditions. The birds tend to hunker down and disappear when the weather is poor. I already had a feeder out with sunflower hearts in, and I put some additional seed out for ground feeding species at around 8:30. Near 9 o'clock, the rain had eased off, and I decided to do my birdwatch then rather than wait and risk more bad weather. I live tweeted about it on Twitter using the hashtag Big Garden Birdwatch. Here are the tweets, and a house sparrow chirp separates them. OK, it's on. A rainy, windy day, and despite seeing some wood pigeons, a collared dove and a dunnock earlier, I can't see any birds now. Typical. 20 minutes in, and I've seen 2 wood pigeons and 2 great tits. Rain is holding off for now. I can hear a dunnock. Will I see it? I saw the dunnock. Another wood pigeon has arrived, but I don't know if it's the one that flew off earlier. I've only had 2 in the garden at any one time, so that's what'll have to go on my count. 31 minutes in, and my garden is empty. I can hear a song thrush and a robin though, so that's something, even though I can't record them. 2/3 through, and I've only seen a very small portion of my usual visitors. Where are my wren, blackbirds, robin and blue tits? I can hear the wren. Come on, show yourself. A dunnock and 2 great tits are back. And a blue tit, yay! 4 minutes to go, and a magpie just arrived. Ooh, and my count of wood pigeons just went up to 3. 4 wood pigeons. Well, it's nice to know someone enjoys my garden. And that's a wrap on my hashtag Big Garden Birdwatch for 2020. 4 wood pigeon, 1 dunnock, 1 blue tit, 2 great tits, 1 magpie. Not counted were the song thrush and robin that I heard, but were not seen in my garden. Hope you all enjoyed your bird watching. And of course, not 10 minutes after I finish, the sun comes out and 2 goldfinches stop by. Quite a few of you also took part, and I asked you to let me know what you'd seen. Catching up with Euan, he saw 5 dunnock, 6 blue tit, 4 wood pigeon, 2 magpie, 3 robin, 2 blackbird. And you can hear more from Euan and his planned birdwatching trips for this year in an upcoming episode. Rachael from the Hidden Wings and Bloodlust podcast said, "Just on mine, unfortunately had a chaffinch, goldfinch, collared dove and wood pigeon just before I started recording. Oh well. In the end, she saw blue tit, long-tailed tit, great tit, coal tit, robin and blackbird." And from the Facebook group, Caroline from Colchester saw house sparrow, wood pigeon, blackbird, collared dove, magpie, starling, feral pigeon, great tit and robin. That's quite a nice selection there. Kieran from the Isle of Wight reported jackdaw, blue tit, dunnock, robin, wood pigeon, carrion crow and wren. David from Scotland saw 3 starling, 6 goldfinch, 7 house sparrow, 4 blue tit, 4 dunnock, 3 pigeons, 2 blackbird, 2 jackdaw, 2 robin and 2 magpie. A really good group. And Adam from Sheffield said he had a really satisfying survey. He saw 1 grey heron, 8 house sparrows, 14 jackdaw, 2 collared dove, 3 chaffinch, 2 blackbird, 2 coal tit, a wood pigeon, robin, blue tit and 7 feral pigeons. Karin from Finland told me that BirdLife Finland encourages a bird count on the same weekend as the Big Garden Birdwatch. She says, "We submit the results to BirdLife Finland, and as far as I know, the species flying over are allowed. The rules seem pretty simple here to encourage many people to do it, and it's possible to do the birdwatch in any location, provided you record it accurately." She left a voice message to tell me what she saw.
Hi there, Suzy and Casual Birder podcast listeners. It's Karin here from Oulu in Finland. Just reporting in my figures for the Garden Birdwatch. It's a big thing here as well. So we've had a really mild winter, very little snow. It was only -9 degrees Celsius yesterday. Clear day. And the feeders were very busy, but I've still probably got the lowest scores of anybody. So I had 5 great tits, 4 blue tits, 3 tree sparrows, 4 feral pigeons flew over, and there was 1 magpie. And yep, that was it. A grand total of 17 birds. Okay, looking forward to hearing others' results. Bye for now.
Katie from Dallas joined in the birdwatch for fun. Over the hour, she saw 20 cedar waxwings, 6 American goldfinch, 4 house sparrows, 4 white-winged doves, 4 mourning doves, 3 dark-eyed juncos, 2 northern cardinals, 2 Carolina chickadees, 2 blue jays, 2 American robins, and 1 red-bellied woodpecker. I really would love to have seen those birds. If you also took part in the Big Garden Birdwatch, be sure to submit your results. You can still do this online up until the 16th of February. The RSPB will release the results later this year. And if counting your garden birds is something you'd like to continue doing, consider signing up for the British Trust for Ornithology's BTO Garden Birdwatch, an ongoing survey of your garden birds and other wildlife. You can find out more at bit.ly/GBW join. That's capital G, capital B, capital W, capital J, OIN. You've all been busy seeing birds recently, and I love hearing about them. Mark from Portland, Oregon, said, "I don't think birding can get much more casual than this. I took a quick break at work and was drawn to birdsong somewhere I'd never even noticed. I ended up spending 5 to 10 minutes looking into some brambles, and I saw 2 brown creepers, 1 spotted towhee, 1 lesser goldfinch, 1 ruby-crowned kinglet, 6 dark-eyed juncos, 50,000 bush tits, and 1 red-tailed hawk being harassed by crows. Not bad for a brief break from work." When questioned on the number of bush tits, he said, "Well, it was just an estimate. There's a huge Douglas fir that was absolutely alive with them. The tree was full of twittering fluff balls." And actually, Mark, that is exactly the kind of birding I love doing, just popping outside. You never know what you're going to see, and you just take that moment to look, and you see all of that. Kieran, our past guest from episode 67, said, "This morning I accidentally did an hour's birdwatch. I heard lots of birds in the garden, so I went to the window, and next thing I knew, an hour had passed. Highlight was a low-flying sparrowhawk, first-time flyby for the garden. I also saw a robin, 1 dunnock, 3 blue tits, a female blackbird, 2 house sparrows, a wren, many herring gulls flying over, 3 jackdaws, 2 magpie, 2 wood pigeon. And I also heard long-tailed tits, pied wagtail, and great black-backed gull." I love these stories of accidental bird watches. Sarah from Eastern Queensland said, "I typically don't see many wedge-tailed eagles in my backyard. However, a pair seems to have taken up residence after some recent rain. I'm guessing that they're after the rabbits and macropods brought out by the green grass. I've also noticed that the spangled drongos have picked up their call. Typically, I hear goshawk calls from spangled drongos, so perhaps they mimic raptors in particular, or maybe it's just a matter of chance. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm lucky to have wedge-tailed eagles around, as they're one of my favourite birds to see in flight." That's amazing. I'm going to have to find out more about these spangled drongos. They've got a fantastic name, and it sounds like they're good mimics. But yeah, the wedge-tailed eagles, I was so pleased to have seen those when I went to Tasmania. Jessica from the Melbourne area said, "I went for an early run this morning, unusual for me since I don't like morning runs, but the predicted heat made it necessary. The compensation was seeing lots of birds. Rainbow lorikeets in the gum out front and flying around generally like clowns, Australian magpies, sulphur-crested cockatoos, little ravens, red wattlebirds, masked lapwings, great egret and white-faced heron along the creek, little black cormorants perching on Bird Rock, and silver gulls along the beach. And a gorgeous pair of eastern rosellas that I see flying around my street. I wish they'd visit my garden so I could get a picture. I'm not sure I'd be tempted to go running. I think I would just be out looking at the birds. But thanks so much, Jessica, for sharing that with us. And a little bit of casual birding from me. At the beginning of February, I went to Birmingham to attend Pod UK, a podcast fan convention with live shows, workshops and panels. As I arrived at the hotel, there was a small flock of starlings in the tree outside. When I got to my room, I was able to see and video a mini murmuration, just as they were coming in to roost for the evening. But they didn't stick around because there were renovation works happening nearby which produced lots of loud noises, and every time they settled it scared them off again. The next morning I was woken by gulls and carrion crows calling out. It was a while before dawn, so it was still dark, but there was low cloud reflecting the city's lights, and it produced enough light for them to see to fly around. I could see them flying through the murk as they approached my window before, I think, flying up onto the roof. When the day got brighter, I was able to see that the gulls had quite dark wings and yellow legs, and I realised they were lesser black-backed gulls, not the herring gulls I'd originally thought they were. Here's a sample of my wake-up call. What birds have you seen recently? I love to hear about them. Join our Facebook group to share your photos and tales of the birds you've seen. Find us at facebook.com/groups/Casual Birder Podcast. There is a podcast page which you can follow as well, but the group is where people are able to post photos and talk about the birds they see. It's a closed group for listeners of the show, and you do have to answer a couple of questions to join, but they're very easy ones. Each Wednesday I post a fun bird ID quiz on my social media channels. Do look out for that. You don't need to be an expert to identify the bird. There are always clues in my post. Treat it as though you've caught a glimpse of the bird in the field, and then you can use the clues you have to identify it, which might mean checking online or in a bird guide. And that's why I give the region to help narrow it down. Follow me on Twitter at @CasualBirderPod or on Instagram at @CasualBirderPodcast. And do consider actually telling me about the birds you've seen or heard. Most phones have a voice recording app. You can email me the file, and I may include it in the show. Don't forget to say your first name and what country or city you're in, but you don't have to be too specific. Unless you have really cool birds, in which case we'll all come round to see them. You can email me at casualbirderpod@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit my new website at casualbirder.com. You can find photos and videos of the birds I've seen and blog posts about my birding. And make sure you don't miss any episodes by subscribing to the show. Subscribing is free and you can do it wherever you listen. And have you visited Podchaser.com? Podchaser is fabulous, a kind of one-stop shop where you can follow your favourite podcast hosts, find out what other shows they've been on, get ideas for shows to listen to, and make lists of podcasts to share. I've made a few lists myself, one in particular with all the other birding podcasts that I know of. It's an easy way to give recommendations to others. Podchaser is also a really great place to leave reviews. They have a wonderful graphic that makes sharing the reviews very attractive. And writing a review for a show really helps encourage others to listen, as well as making the podcaster feel all warm inside. You can follow me on Podchaser and check out the other shows I've been on. Thank you to Randy Braun for designing the artwork for the show. The theme music is Short Sleeve Shirt by the Drones. Thanks to them for letting me use it. Check out their website at dronesmusic.net. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you'll join me again for another episode of the Casual Birder podcast.